Good morning guys, welcome back to the channel once again. Right, just a couple of things. A little catch up on the kit car. Tom Upton, that is the son of Kevin Upton, the Snap-on guy. He has got the kit car at the moment and he is in the process of re-bracketing the rear end really. Tom sent me a video the other day of underneath the vehicle and what he's found, and as you all may know, we have that one bottom arm bracket that has come adrift, thus making the wheel sort of do what it wants to do. He's done some measuring on the bracketry and he said that the brackets are actually 3mm. So although they looked thin looking down that cross plane, they are actually 3mm. I think it's just where it's gone thin and been V'd out to be welded. It looked thinner than it was, but he said the actual thickness of the brackets doesn't really need to be any thicker because the box section of the chassis is only 3mm thick anyway, so there's no point really welding 4 or 5mm thick plate to a 3mm thick box chassis really. So he did send me a little video of underneath the car. He's found a couple of the old welds on the other side and on the back of that arm. You can see where you get like a line of rust where obviously it's starting to fracture. So he's going to redo all those, and he's also going to put some strengthening bars across the chassis. I've given him the go-ahead. He's going to get the CAD drawings done for all the brackets and he's going to get them laser cut. So yeah, should be a pretty pro job really, knowing Tom, because he's pretty anal. So yeah, it's in capable hands guys and we cannot wait to get that car back. Secondly, the N52 that Paul stripped yesterday, we have sort of done a bit of measuring, had a little look, and I spoke to the customer yesterday because obviously it's been a couple of months since we've had that engine and I can't really remember what the original discussion was, but the customer said that it had started to blow a head gasket really. Not only that, but it looks grotty. I think the car's quite nice. He said he wants to do the odd show and what have you, but he just wants the car to be nice. He said it never used any oil really, never made any horrible noises, and these, I think these are a Nickersil or Aliasil bore. There's don't appear to be anywhere in the bores. Now, you know what I've said about re-ringing, and we never normally would, but obviously there's nothing we can do with these bores, and if he's had no problems before, the bores look and measure perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to price up a set of rings because the rings are pretty knackered, and I'm also going to price up a set of pistons. We're going to measure the pistons today. Although they look good, I'm going to give him the option, and hopefully I can talk him into putting a set of pistons in there. But yeah, we're just going to face the block. You can see where the block's been blowing across number 3 and 4. Obviously we're going to go through the head and what have you anyway. We're going to replace the hydraulic lifters and all that and just make it look nice. So yeah, no real disasters on that guys. Got Paul there cracking on, but unfortunately I'm running a little bit late today because I've had to take my daughter into Ilfracombe, but Paul said that John's rang up and he's not very well. He's got a sore throat. So we're 2 men down because Isaac's in Spain until the end of the week. So we should have him back next week. So yeah, there's only 2 of us at the minute guys. So let's get back to the workshop and see how Paul's getting on. Right guys, as you can see, we've got the camshafts for the Vauxhall now. So we've just unveiled the engine, took the cover off it. And these are the cams here, so they're a Newman cam. As you can see by the spec, they're a PH2 cam, a road rally, well, fast road really. We've got new hydraulics, but he's blown these out, so what we always do is squeeze them out because they come with a sort of a bit of a funny fluid in there, and I don't like to leave them in. One, because they're jacked open as standard with that fluid in, and if we put it all together, we've had it before where it jacks the valves open, and for a while it just won't start. And not only that, but once they do sort of squeeze the fluid out, we've had it where they just tap and tap and they don't shut up. So we just squeeze that out, and then initially when you get the oil pressure up, in theory they all fill with oil, you know, the engine oil, and it's the right oil in there. So we're just going to unbox these and and get them in the cylinder head. Right, so the BMW here, you see we've got one piston and rod here. I did say to you earlier on that these pistons are in good shape. So first of all, you look on the skirts there, you can't see any major scuffing or anything like that. So just got Paul over there measuring the rest of them. So we've measured this one, and it's 3.345, I think, in imperial. And now where you want to measure it from is obviously a piston. A lot of people, when the engine's got tired rings, when it's sitting in the block like that, the amount of people that come in and say there's a shed load of play in the piston because they're wobbling it from the top. But what they don't realise is, if you look down a piston from this angle here, the piston is actually shaped like that, so it's sort of wedge shaped. So the narrowest area is at the top, that's the narrowest diameter, and obviously that's took up by the piston rings, and then the skirt sort of tapers down, and the contact point between the bore and the piston usually is about sort of 5mm up right in the centre of that skirt, so probably sort of 5 or 10mm sort of square area about here. So that's where you want to be measuring to see what the piston's like. We've measured that one and that measures okay. As I say, it's 3.345, so Paul's just going to compare the others and measure them. Right, so Paul has measured all the pistons for the BMW on the skirts where I showed you, and they all measure consistent. They're all absolutely cock on. They measure 3.345. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our bore gauge, find out what the running clearance is by putting in the bore size, and we're going to set the bore gauge up here and measure the bores and see what they're like. So the first thing we do, here's our bore gauge here. Don't know whether you guys have seen a bore gauge or I've been into this in depth really, but what you've got is you've got a little plunger down the back here which is connected to another rod that goes up there, and if I press in that plunger you can see the hand move round. Now each increment here is 1 thou, so a whole revolution of the big hand is 10 thou. You've got a little hand here which is an indicator of whereabouts you are within sort of 10 thou. Each increment on the little hand is 10 thou, so if you do 1 revolution it will move from say 3 to 4, that is 10,000ths of an inch. So that's your bore gauge. Now what we do to find out the running clearance is we've measured the piston and it is 3.345. Okay, so to convert that to metric, we times that by 25.4 and that gives us 84.963. Okay, so that's telling us it's an 85mm bore. So don't take that for granted. I always double check, and it is an 85mm bore. So what we do there is we go 85mm, now go the other way round, so we divide by 25.4 equals 3.346 near as damn it 5. So that compared to what the piston measures is giving us about 1.5 thou running clearance. On these BMWs with the Aliasil bore, they always run about 0.5 thou. You can go up to 1 thou over that, depending what the bore measures. You normally find that if we measure that bore now, we have to set in this bore gauge, it will probably be 0.5 thou to 1 thou over what it should be. And that's not wear, that's just what they're like. And also, when we do measure it, it's going to be at the top of the bore, because it's a sort of half open deck, it's going to be very slightly oval, about probably 0.5 thou. So we'll set our bore gauge now. So what we want to do is we want to set the micrometer, so we've got the 3 to 4 mic, to 3.3465. The front of that face on the 0 would be 3 inches. So we've gone 3.3, and each revolution of this hand is 0.25 or 25 thou. So we've got 3.3, 3.325, 3.33, 3.34, 3.345, 3.346, 5. So that there should be your bore size. Then what we've got here is a series of rods here for our boring bar. So what you want to do, you've got 4 spacers here. This is really all you need to sort of make up whatever bore size you want to go to, really, from 2 to 4 inch. You've then got a 2 inch extension there which allows you to go beyond 4, so that will go 4 to 6 then. So what we do, we find we haven't got a 3.3 but we've got a 3.2, so we get the 3.2 bar. We then use this spacer here which will take us to 3.32. I then use, you can use the 02 or the 04, and that, if we use the 04, that will take us to 3.36. So 3.36 will be absolutely fine. Then what we do is we put our bore gauge into the micrometer, set at that size, and we adjust the face. You can rotate this face so the 0 matches up with the big hand. We have got this set on the big hand on 0 and the small hand is on 3. Then we know that is the exact bore size. So let's go and measure the bore. So we are expecting to see here probably about 1 thou or half a thou over what we set it at. And you can see there that's about 3/4 of a thou. If we go over this way, it's about half a thou. Half a thou there. And up the top, it's a little bit oval up the top, but that's going to be absolutely acceptable. You're normally fine with these BMWs until you torque the head down. You normally find at the top, from sort of side to side, and then go 90 degrees, you're normally about 1 thou out. But once you torque the head on, or you torque the torque plate on there, that would true up nicely. So that's absolutely normal for one of these. So that really averages out probably about 1 thou over. So that tells us that this BMW is going to be running about half a thou to 1 thou over the running clearance, so 2 to 2.5 thou. That's absolutely fine. So I got no problem whatsoever using these pistons. So we're going to give the customer a ring, price up a set of rings for this, and yeah, and let's get this thing on its way. Right, so there we go, guys. The Vauxhall has got the cams in. As you can see, got the front pulleys on. That is looking absolutely lovely. So there we go, cams are in. Now what we do first of all is, you can see I've got the dial in the plug hole there, and I've got the TDC. You can see I've got the disc on the front, and I've found true TDC. So where this little arrow lines up with top, that is perfect, top dead centre. The cams, we sort of just roughly time up where they normally time up with the normal pulleys on, and what it is on the Vauxhalls is that dowel there on both faces at 12 o'clock. So we've got those up there now. The pulleys are sort of in the centre, they're all slackened off, and what I normally do is just the bolt there that does the pulleys up, that's directly opposite the dowel hole, I just nip them up. All the rest is slack, and as you can see, they're all pretty much in the centre, so we've got a few degrees either way to play with on those pulleys. So what we're going to do now, next thing, is take this dial out. We're going to get a clock on, first of all, on the exhaust cam, and both of these cams time at 110 degrees, one before TDC, one after TDC. So that is the next step on this. And once we've done that, guys, we're nearly there. We haven't got much, we haven't got many bits left over actually. Get the rocker cover on, and then that's all done. So yeah, we're just going to do these pulley bolts up. I've done the tension on the belt. So yeah, I'll crack on with that as I normally do. As you can see, I'm not going to tell you until Friday's video, but if you have a look in the background, we have the kit car back. So I'm going to be showing you in the next video what Tom has done to that, but absolutely over the moon with what he's done, and hopefully we won't have any more problems from that. But I just want to thank you guys for watching once again. Until another video, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, guys, and we will see you in another video. Thanks a lot.